heroes. Thank you all for tuning in to episode 46 of the Nexus podcast. This week we have tons of Blizzcon news. Our game is back, and we got some extra modes going on. So let me go. I'm your host, Adam Eastwood, and let me bring in our co-host, the lore-loving, time-altering gamer, David Troy.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, David.
I'm just keeping things very formal today since you are from New England. And this week I'm let's just say I'm keeping it professional with everyone from New England because my favorite football team might be playing a team from New England. And let's just say there's no love lost. So let's just move on with it then, shall
we? Well, there is no love lost ever because I hope the Bills win.
Oh, okay. You're in then. All right, great. Looking forward to the show.
We have our Blizzard and eSport enthusiast, Ben Blazik, with us today.
Good evening. What is this foosball that ones speak of?
One day we'll let you go to a game.
Oh,
You'll be
okay.
old enough to go to a game, Ben.
I see how it is. It's okay. I'll stick with my hockey and stuff, even though it's kind of weird coming out of the mouth of an American.
Yeah, talking to a Canadian who's watching football.
That is kind of like very ironic. You'd think it might be the other way normally, but...
Well, yeah. It's always funny when we go tailgating and I'm drinking Coors and all the American guys are drinking Molson and Labatt, so just see it. Grass is always greener.
Yeah, it's like he's wearing an NFL jersey. I should just go put on my Washington Capitals NHL jersey and we'll just... Anyways.
And here on time, the amazing Josh Williams. What's going on?
Oh, just hanging out with you fellas. And looking forward to talking about what's happened the past couple days. What's came out on Tuesday again. So I'm excited about that. And also, I hope the Bills lose. Oh, I don't like the Bills, so it's okay.
Yeah, you were there at the tailgate. Traitor.
Traitor. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about our weekend gaming. David, why don't we kind of go ahead and start with you?
Well, I was playing a lot of Diablo. Right up until Tuesday, I think, was the day that Heroes came back, and it's pretty much been all Heroes since then. I'm very poor in Heroes now, and I'm feeling it. Let's just say my MMR isn't the greatest right now, because I think they picked maybe the worst combination of Heroes to make free to start. I am like lord of the feeders when it comes to playing Kerrigan, yet I have to, because I need to earn gold, and I keep getting this assassin quest, so... let's just say I've been grinding pretty painfully, but I have managed to get to level 12, so I've got my Witch Doctor back, and let's just say I'm doing much better now that I can poison people and throw frogs at them and surround them by zombies and surround my allies with zombies most of the time and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, just been playing a lot of Heroes. It's nice to have it back, and it's nice to really kind of feel like I'm playing for something permanent now that it looks like there may not be a wave again.
Yeah, I mean... it was weird because you're like, oh, you're playing that. I'd just be like, oh, why aren't you playing Vala? Vala's free to everyone because you pre-ordered Reaper of Souls. And then I'm like, wait, you didn't pre-order Reaper of Souls.
No, I managed to order Reaper of Souls at the worst possible time, in between pre-ordering it and before it was 50% off. So I timed that out pretty well. So I get neither Vala nor half my money back. But hey, it's even fun when I'm losing, and that's how you can tell it's a good game. I've been playing Lily pretty well, which is a little frightening. So.
And Josh, what have you been up
to? Well, I was playing last week until Tuesday. I was playing the Shadows of Mordor game, and then Tuesday hit, and I've been playing basically Heroes of the Storm whenever I've had time this week. That was basically it. That's all I've been playing.
Oh yeah, who have you been playing in Heroes of the Storm?
Anub'arak and Asmodon. Dan, what is it? I always forget. Is there O-N or A-N?
I don't know. Let's ask Ben, because we can check up with him and see what he's been doing, and I'm sure he knows the answer to that one.
So, ton of Heroes. So happy that it's finally back. Kind of felt like there was a void in my life a little bit, especially with like the team. It was kind of weird not having practice the last week when the alpha was down, but yet everybody is like still like, so what are we doing this week? Because there's no practice, and there's like just an awkward communication barrier. So now that the Heroes is back, we can finally get our team back into the swing. I've been only playing Asmodon since the alpha came back up. I have not touched a single other hero, and I'm closing in on the master skin for Asmodon. So it's pretty interesting time, and it's awesome. So.
No, it's a great time. For those of you out there who are in that technical alpha and aren't playing right this second, remember, it is like double XP. So when you play with your friends, you're getting double XP plus 50%. So now is like the perfect time to be playing this game to level up heroes quicker, to level yourself up quicker. So, you know, it's great. You know, if there's that one master skin that you really, really want, now's the time to work towards it. So I definitely recommend playing right now. You know.
Except if you haven't been invited, in which case we're very sorry for rubbing in your face.
Right. You know, it's funny. My my week in gaming, very much like David, I was playing a ton of Diablo, and then all of a sudden, you know, Heroes of the Storm comes up, and that's my game of choice. I mean, I was dying for it to come back. I was so happy, and I even though I played a little bit of Asmodan when I wasn't playing with Ben, majority of my time right now has been on anub'arak. I feel like I'm very, very happy with how that hero has turned out. We'll get into that in our first looks a little bit later. Other than that, you know, there was a little bit of Diablo at one point earlier today. I just jumped in for a couple minutes, and we had a guild meeting trying to figure out what we're going to do with Warlords of Draenor. Now that we know that patch 6.0 is upon us in you know, just a couple days. So, you know, plans for Warlords of Draenor kind of.
I know what you should do. Play it.
Yes, but I'm a co-guild leader, so I have to plan for everybody.
Have you got your heirlooms weapons yet?
No, I haven't. So that's
that's our big goal.
You're fired.
Bueno.
Well, yeah, I'll be resubbing to that in the near future. So, with that, we're gonna go ahead and move right into the news this week. I think a lot of our news, you know, half of it's about BlizzCon. I mean, we're very excited. It's coming up. We have a map. We have a schedule. Ben, kind of just like quick looking at the schedule and map. What are your thoughts? Has this got you like more amped up for BlizzCon?
I'm not exactly sure how to answer this question. I am excited for BlizzCon, so let's not let that get confused anywhere in this. It's just I feel a little indifferent right now. However, with the schedule and looking at it, it's nice to see that there's no shortage of heroes stuff that's going to be on the schedule. You know, we have our overviews, exhibition, and semifinal stages of all the matches, as well as you know, a deep dive panel again, and just overall some nice panels to spread out where we're going to be. And I know that I'm going to be at all the heroes panels and then all the matches myself personally. So it's nice to see that we have a good presence on the board. I mean, last year we had a decent presence too, but this year it's definitely double that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you know, like you said, deep dive overview, and the sound one. I'm kind of interested. I don't know. I like these like offbeat ones that, you know, they're gonna just talk about the sounds and everything like that. But I like that type of stuff myself when it comes to the panels, because stuff that, you know, you might not hear all the time. You know, and they're not just gonna throw a lot of that information out there. You have to go to BlizzCon to get that. Josh, anything kind of point out anything that you see in the map and the schedule?
Well, the map is because none of you guys went there last year, right?
No, I was not.
Okay. The thing I noticed, the thing that stuck out to me about the map is this convention hall is pretty big. Doesn't really look like it from the pictures or videos or anything like that, but once you're in it, it's pretty big. The far right wall, where it's open up to go into the stage, the StarCraft tournament stage, that wasn't there last year. That was where the BlizzCon store was at. So that is cool that they're actually taking that arena, because that's like the hockey arena or basketball arena they have attached to the convention center there. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome that they're taking that big convention hall, that big stadium, basically, and using it for a StarCraft tournament. Mm-hmm. And then also people can go to there who don't have BlizzCon tickets for a price. But other than that, it's interesting to see, like the StarCraft 2 looks like that's the StarCraft 2 playing area. Mm-hmm. And so that just goes to show that they're going to have the StarCraft expansion there.
Yeah, you think that's the expansion with the nice big StarCraft 2 area? I think it's bigger than almost all the other ones because they don't really have a, they have a World of Warcraft playing area, but it's not nearly as big as StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
Take this as kind of actual, not actual size, but
'Cause that-
indicative of the size of the area.
That spot where it's at, that's the same spot Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls was at last year. And Heroes of the Storm's in the same spot. Oh no, Heroes of the Storm was one over where C is at. But that's where Diablo Reaper of Souls was at last year. So StarCraft 2, that has to be the expansion. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like we with Wings of Liberty, when they announced like the BlizzCon before Wings of Liberty came out, or no, I'm sorry, before the beta came out for Wings of Liberty, they didn't have it at BlizzCon, did they? Because I don't remember if it was it.
Yeah, all their games are playable at BlizzCon.
No. We're going back to like.
I know. That's what I'm going back to. I meant like they always have them playable before anything comes out, any beta or any alpha is out for them. So usually when they announce it at the BlizzCon, it's playable there. You there, Ben?
All right.
Oh, okay.
I'm
It looked
here.
like you froze.
No, I'm thinking as far as contesting, but go ahead.
But yeah, that's too big of a playing area to have the current StarCraft 2 on it. Because they didn't have StarCraft 2 there last year to play at all. Because they didn't have anything for it. Only thing people playing was the WCS. So, I mean, that has to be Reaper of Souls. Or not Reaper of Souls. Wings, what is it? Legacy of the Void?
Legacy of the Void.
Yeah. It has to be that, because it's too big of an area just to show off what's already out.
Now, David, coming from a virtual ticket owner, the kind of look at the schedule, you must be kind of excited because you don't have to worry about choosing between stuff like in the moment. You can like even flip back and forth if you need to. Huh?
Well, yeah, I'm hoping I won't have to choose between being at the hospital or watching the Hearthstone Championship or anything. I mean, to me, the toughest day is always Friday because I'm working, and then I know at home I could be watching all this stuff, but really I'm sitting there, nose to the grindstone and all that. No, I mean the virtual ticket's great for that. It really gives you the opportunity to be able to just flip back and forth, and really see everything that's hot, and also kind of go back and see the video on demand kind of stuff. So no, I mean it's great. I actually had a lot of fun with the virtual ticket last year. I'm looking forward to going to BlizzCon 2015, but it's a little early for the map for that, or even the date. So it's good. The virtual ticket, it's great that they do have it and that we get some of the same perks and everything like that. But I'm still insanely jealous of you guys. So I will sit here and clench my fist in silent anger.
Yeah, it's looking kind of at the map and the schedule. There's the no-brainers. I'm going to the Heroes of the Storm over here, going to the Heroes of the Storm deep dive, going to the Heroes of the Storm, the Sound of the Nexus. But things like Diablo 3, What's Next, and the Warcraft movie presentation being at the same time, that makes me want to go to both of them. I don't know which one I'm going to go at that.
They're going to unveil the movie poster and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
Here's a mock-up of what it might look like.
So, it's kind of sad. What makes me think that I'm going to go to the Warcraft movie presentation isn't that I prefer to see stuff of that over Diablo 3. It's that if I'm already in the room, or the hall, I'll be that much closer to the Heroes of the Storm overview when it's over. It's set myself in position for it, And then you have the StarCraft 2, What's Next starts, and Heroes of the Storm exhibition starts 15 minutes later. It's I want to see the exhibition, but at the same time, I'm really interested in what they're going to be doing next with StarCraft 2. I'm excited for Legacy of the Void. I want that game to come out, and I want to play it, and I want to hear about it. But at the same time, I don't want to miss the exhibition. So it's I feel like they actually give you some tough choices during the 2 days.
It does look like really Warcraft light, though, eh? Just looking at the schedule.
It's because Warcraft had their time last year.
No, I know. No, and I'm not complaining about it. I think it's appropriate, especially with everything else coming out. But just looking at it, if I was there, aside from the movie, I'm not sure exactly what I'd be there for Warcraft. Yeah,
you have the Q&A. They're talking about the cinematic that we saw a couple months ago.
They do that on purpose. They know this couple days later, the expansion coming out. So there's like we don't need to concentrate too much on that. My guess, at least.
Yeah, everyone will be playing it and stuff like that.
Yeah, just give actually not even a week, 1 week after, basically it's already out. So they don't need to really go over that too much. And Diablo's kind of low amount of information too.
Yeah, it's really the esports BlizzCon, it looks like.
Yeah, they're really pushing, I think, the esports because there's definitely tons of esports going on the entire time that we're going to be there. Now, there's a big thing online about, kind of the open spots. There's a spot where there's only something in the panel stage and not the main stage on Saturday. And then Friday, there's a big gap between the opening ceremony and then the first panels. So that makes people think that there's going to be some kind of huge unveiling this year at BlizzCon. They also point to the floor map and where Heroes of the Storm was last year, kind of in the south portion of Hall C. It's completely empty. There's nothing there. So people think that there's going to be something announced and then playable in that location. Do you guys think that's just kind of a load of poo, or do you really believe that something else is going to be announced?
Are you asking? Do we think there's gonna be a sixth, or would that be a sixth IP or a fifth?
It would be a fifth IP, right?
StarCraft, Diablo, Warcraft,
Fourth IP.
Hearthstone.
No,
Heroes.
Hearthstone, Heroes. So that's six.
So six game, fourth IP.
Yeah, really, because Hearthstone and Warcraft are the same IP, right?
I think it's gonna be something because
You think so?
that's a like I said, I've been there. That's a big area open. That's a big open area right there.
Are you
Unless
sure
they
it
just
might not
don't-
be
unless they
Legacy
just
of the
didn't
Void
need-
stuff?
I think that's over there on the right side, the far in Hall A.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they didn't go right into the panels after the opening ceremonies. I think
Maybe they were trying to encourage more people to get into the esports.
that's true, and that's what I was gonna say. That could be the other thing is they're trying to push their esports a little bit more this year, as well. It's,
I'm going to look up the BlizzCon 2013 map and things because that is a big gap.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
realize
that's
that until you
where
pointed it out. That's a huge gap.
yeah.
Is that on Friday you guys are talking about, right after the
Yeah.
opening ceremony?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you look at the map, where Hall C is, Heroes of the Storm, which was kind of their new thing that they were showing off, was right there in the front of Hall C near the entrance. So it's like you would think that they would have something there, to show off. Not a big empty spot for the DirecTV broadcast stage.
Now, I mean, I've never been there, but wouldn't that also just be, you've got 3 things going concurrently with the esports. Couldn't that also just be kind of like a breather time to let people go in and get their hands on all the stuff, like play Heroes, play Legacy, play like that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Like-
See, that was empty last year.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
What was empty last
C had Heroes of the Storm.
But
Oh, you
was
mean
there
the
like a
actual?
panel
Are you
for
talking about
Heroes
like
of
the
Storm?
panel time? Sorry, that floor plan I linked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just thinking it can't
the
be
the
continually
time
packed.
frame wasn't there for like 15 minutes, and then it went right into it. It's like over an hour and a half between opening ceremony and first panel and this new one.
You know what it is? It's time after the awesome Legacy of the Void announcement that's going to take place during the opening ceremony. It's going to give everybody a chance to go to the bathroom and change their undies, and then go get some food and relax and recoup, and then start to get into the panels later on.
Nah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot. There's just a lot out there. A lot of people saying different things, whether it be a new game or a new IP. But maybe it's something that they originally thought they were gonna have room for other stuff, and Titan, and then they canned it. So now it's like, hey, now we just have some open space. A million different things. So let's.
I linked the. I couldn't find a schedule. It would give me a 404, but I found the floor map of 2013, and you can see that's like the same spot in Hall C where Heroes of the Storm's at. That's open now, like the same size and everything. Because those halls are a lot bigger than they look in these pictures.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
So
Yeah,
there's, like,
I
a
would
big
find it
empty
surprising if they came out with a fifth game at this point. I don't, especially right after the Titan announcement. I don't think they really even know what they want to do next.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to push. I mean, with the Warcraft 3 Battle.net stuff being data mined, it could be that they're just going to put something like Warcraft 3 there and say, hey guys, it's now available on your Battle.net play it here for free, just for fun.
Remember what I said last week off air? Warcraft 3 redone and StarCraft 2 engine?
So,
I mean, wouldn't it also be the time to announce another Diablo 3 expansion?
oh, that's the Diablo What's Next, maybe?
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, those are the things I could probably, like, they're going to talk about the Hearthstone expansions. They're going to talk about new heroes. They're going to talk about the next Diablo expansion. They're going to talk about Legacy. And then they're not going to talk very much about Warcraft. They're just going to do a retro for Warcraft. That's my call. That's my prediction.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and move into actual Heroes of the Storm news. With the technical alpha being back, we did get some patch notes, so we can kind of take a quick look over them and see the stuff that kind of hit everybody. I would say that like we said, one of the best things is it's the double XP week, so you can double the XP. People who pre-ordered Reaper of Souls now have the Demon Hunter for free, no cost. And then everyone's in their home battle.net region. Now, this is just starting to be a little bit of a pain, because one, you can only have 100 friends. So now between 5 games, 100 friends isn't actually that much, considering, if that's only 20 per game, and if some of your friends don't play cross-game, you run into some problems. The other problem, too, is, at least in Heroes, is it doesn't prioritize your friends list by having the people who are playing Heroes at the top. They're still mixed in, so you can't really find them quickly. Have any of you guys, kind of run into these problems?
Well, I wanted it to prioritize it, so it'd be like BFF, and then, my buddies, and then just people I sort of know, and then, like, frenemies and stuff. Or you meant by game? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think that would help. Well, I mean, the little icons are good with the friends list. In terms of the patch notes, I really appreciated the Battle Beast coming out there. I thought that was pretty cool, because I don't think that was in there before. Is that right?
Correct. There's brand new free mount for people who like to play the game for free, David.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was out there, and like it puts you on there right away. That's the first thing you're on, and I'm like, whoa, what? I'm like riding this slug thing. Like, what's going on? And then I was like, am I going to get to keep this? So, yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely some of the changes to the heroes. I haven't really gotten a chance to play many of them. But some of the changes to the heroes, I think Nova got a real big overhaul. Other than that, certainly it feels like home again. It's nice to be back. I am feeling the gold crunch, though. That was a big deal, especially these increases for new heroes up to 15,000. I'm grinding for Asmodan, but I don't know. He's a little out of my price range. He's too classy for me. Maybe the Lord of Sin, but I'm not quite up to his standards.
Yeah, you just kind of have to wait till he drops down to 10k, so when the next hero comes out.
Maybe I got to put a piercing on my nipple or something like that.
There you go.
Sometimes I just don't know what to say. I'm not going to lie.
Dim nipple ring physics.
Yeah.
Asmodan, I'll do anything, but I don't have 15,000 gold. Whatever you want.
Ben, anything kind of really stick out to you in the patch?
As far as like game performance itself seems to be a little bit better. They did mention that it's now on production hardware, which for anybody who's not familiar with software development, normally when you develop software, you have like a development environment, a testing environment, depending on what kind of software it is. You could have a training environment, staging environment, and then you also have production, which is your live. So now we are on production hardware, which is really nice. The only thing that I'm noticing with that is that when we queue up and we finally get a match, sometimes there's a delay between the number 5 and the number 2, and it lags. And when you hit number 2, or 3 or 2, all of a sudden you're loading into the game. So there's, at least for me, what I'm seeing, there's some slight freezing. I am using the 64-bit client, and I am running it on an SSD. So that should not be the problem. So I noticed some slight problem with that. But as far as like performance-wise, in the match, it feels slightly bit crisp, or more crisp than what it was. So that's awesome. And with being on the production hardware, we are also now with the regular, as we were talking about a second ago, BattleNet friends list and stuff like that. So that's really awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that also to remind people is that all the bundles for real money are up and running. Since basically the initial bundles were first set. So if there was a bundle that you bought that was one of your favorites, go ahead and buy it now, because I'm sure they're going to be going away in probably the near future. I bet you they'll be up for from now until maybe BlizzCon at the latest. So 4 weeks.
Is there any bundle that people should be looking out for that you guys would recommend?
Not necessarily one specific, but the ones that have the mounts, that like specific mounts, because the Nexus bundle and the Battle bundle both have mounts that you can only get through those bundles. So the Zebra is in the Nexus bundle, and the Golden Cyberwolf is in the Battle bundle, and they're both pretty good bundles. If you plan right, you can get most of the heroes without overlapping too much. There's some heroes like Tassadar, Tychus, and Raynor that I feel like overlap a lot in the bundles, but if you do the math out, you definitely make out if you get a select few bundles.
Doesn't the Zebra shake a lot?
No, it's
No?
He's like a steady zebra with a horn.
A steady Zebra? That's the one thing that could potentially tempt me to spend money on this game, because that is a cool looking mount. I think it's the best mount in the game.
Here's the thing: if you're gonna do it, you're gonna want to do it now, and that's the thing. Because do you want to go and buy half the heroes and then get the Nexus bundle? Because Nexus bundle is a big bundle of heroes. It's not just like 2 heroes and a mount. It's like, I want to say it has like 10 to 12 heroes in it. So
yeah. Remember, I said tempted, Adam. I didn't say I was going to do it.
I'm just trying to give you advice.
This guy.
I was willing to pierce my nipple a little earlier on just to get Aslan free. So
From one hero's player
it's a nice
to the
mount.
other.
I'm not doing nothing for a mount.
Josh, anything really stick out to you in terms of the update?
Basically what Ben said, like it's running, it's running smoother and stuff like that. That's the stuff like I really look at when I get into the game. I look at balance changes and stuff later, but when a game gets updated in this kind of stage that it's in, I like to really see how the performances are going, and I think it's pretty darn steady. It does have some issues when you're counting down, like Ben said. I've had it where actually it'll show like a question mark for somebody until like the match starts, and then every once in a while it'll take forever to get into the match, and then once you finally get in, it says everyone left and everyone joined back. That kind of issues, but I mean it's alpha, so expect stuff like that. But I mean it's one heck of a fine-tuned alpha. Like as in a performance-wise, balance issues are still there. But I mean, as for like this game running smoothly and not really having disconnects and disconnecting people, that's pretty impressive.
One thing is that I don't know if maybe I missed it in the patch notes, but the pairing system that they had in place, where there's like you can't have, or if you're random queuing with other people, it's not supposed to have more than this type of hero, and not. I feel like that got thrown out the window, because I've been in some ridiculous matchups, like 4 assassins and 1 specialist, or 4 specialists, 1 assassin, and I'm like, what is this? Like, no supports, no tanks, and I'm just like, this is a little nuts.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's just because like there's so many people playing like the limited group of free heroes and they haven't earned the other ones. If that's possibly it too. We're seeing a lot of Valas. We're seeing a lot of Malfurions.
A lot of Valas.
Yeah, like Vala's in every group. Like it's just
Yeah.
Right.
I still haven't played her yet.
I refuse, because I feel like I should have her for free.
I feel like you should too. You paid the same for Reaper of Souls as everybody else.
I paid more than the people who bought it last week. So.
Yeah, well, they didn't get Val either, so at least they're on your page.
They got $20.
That's true.
They got $20 worth of beer or something. So
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that.
Now there were actually some what I consider major changes to some battlegrounds. The first thing that they do, and I noticed this while I was playing, then saw it in the notes, is the minimap icon no longer blinks when in Garden of Terror, for the the garden terrors. Normally you're like, oh, they're attacking those terrors because you can see it blinking red. Well, it doesn't blink anymore, so you don't know if they're attacking.
It doesn't do it on the golem and the mine shaft either.
It
Yeah.
did it last night when we were playing.
No, it didn't.
That's
Was
how
there a
I knew
bird
that
camp,
they were
maybe?
attacking one of the terrors.
Well, I didn't see it, but supposedly I noticed that it didn't at one point because I saw it just disappear. Maybe
I didn't see it consistently blinking, but I definitely saw a couple blinks in there, and I was like, oh, well, that's where they are.
Oh, really? See, I just
And then I threw an Asmodean bomb, and they were right there.
Battlegrounds general minimap icons for the underground grave golem are in the haunted mines and neutral garden terrors and the garden of terror no longer blink when they are in combat.
Yeah. So they're
Well,
not
then
supposed
I guess
to.
that's a bug.
There might still
So-
be a bug.
It wasn't blinking for me, so it might have been one of those.
They got to get rid of
Fluke
that
bugs.
for everything, right? I don't like that at all. Like, I should have to send a scout out and see if they're doing something. Like, I don't like that. Is that like the map tells you that they're doing something? If I don't have visibility to it, I shouldn't know what's going on.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
be clueless.
I thought you were saying the complete opposite. I was like, what?
No, I don't want.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't.
oh,
think
yeah,
you should.
I agree.
Like, to me, that's easy mode, right?
Yeah,
like,
it seems.
it takes a lot of the strategy out of the game.
I agree, and it's funny. Ben had a little bug yesterday. Gave him a little tipper there.
Yeah, it was like it blinked, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna chuck an Asmodean bomb then. And as soon as it did, I hit my D and spun another minion on top of that one. And I was like, let's just interrupt a little bit here.
There you
You gotta
go.
plant. You gotta plant in the plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably still getting fine tuned. It could be something in it that every now and then it
It's
happens. Yeah, it's to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, for sure. So another change to the battlegrounds that I found interesting is towers, forts, and keeps now regenerate ammunition once every 15 seconds rather than every 10 seconds, which means you have to be a little more protective of your ammunition at this point. So you have to really be careful about that. You gotta put your put up the defenses needed to stop ammunition from being
They
used.
basically made it so that way I could drop the towers and the gate in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it seems like an odd change to make with Asmodean coming in. It's
Yeah.
like, here, we're just going to make it super easy mode.
Super
Yeah, 'cause
easy
he
mode.
can-
Super duper easy. I don't know, I'm before I even knew they made that change, I noticed something was off, because it seems like every time I came towards a turret, it was out of ammo.
Yeah, I don't know. I never personally felt like it was.
I didn't feel like it was
Before.
too easy,
Yeah.
but I definitely noticed if you're against a composition that can't handle Asmodean or don't know how to handle him, then yeah, it's kind of easy.
Yeah, I just find it strange. Like, for a game where the turrets are already so underpowered compared to other MOBAs, that they would actually take this additional step. I don't know. It didn't feel like something that was needed to be done. Like, I never felt like the turrets were like really all that.
Well,
fearsome.
they're more so for like early game deterrence, kind of like the League of Legends towers. I mean, like League of Legends towers, when you're in late game, I go walk under it for days and take the damage just to dive somebody. It's really only like an early game deterrence.
Yeah, but in League, it feels like in the early game, like you get hit twice by that turret, you're like dead. Or
If you take like 2 cannonballs from that turret at like level 1 or 2, it hurts big time.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt like they're just trying to speed the game up, and it just feels pretty fast already. Like, I didn't see too many games when I was going through my my logs. I didn't see a whole lot of games that were getting even to 25 minutes. It was mostly like under sub 20.
I had a 38-minute Garden of Terror yesterday.
Garden of Terror can go long.
Actually, no, that was today.
I was gonna say we had a long one yesterday
Jeez.
because we got like 500 XP for it. Remember?
I played this one solo queue today, and it was absurd. I was 20-0 at one point as Asmodean, and I'm like, is this going to end at some point?
But those are the exceptions to the rule, right? I mean, most of them are 17 minutes, 18 minutes.
Yeah. Another change is to the Night Mercenary camps. I think there's a third change they've made to them. The Healer Mercenary no longer heals, so I guess it's no longer their Healer Mercenary. And now it casts a damage and arcane bolt on enemies instead. It's gone from what it started off as. It buffed everyone's attack speed, including yours. Then it healed, and now it deals damage. So it's like they're really trying to figure out what they want that unit to do. So I kind of liked it. I didn't really notice the difference in terms of how long the nights were lasting, but I did notice a little bit of extra damage going out when I was pushing a lane with when I was playing as Asmodan.
I think they should just change the mercenaries to just all the guys in that helicopter and Predator. So you got your little like Jesse Ventura, your little Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the guy who's always shaving.
Goodness, David.
That's
You always got to go
hilarious.
there, don't you?
I think that's what the mercs should go as. That's my thing.
Are they all smoking cigars too?
You're all smoking cigars, and I'm sure there's some. Yeah, and those are your 4 guys, right? And Apollo Creed. Those are your 4 mercenaries. That's all.
Apollo Crew.
Yeah, Carl Weathers isn't that.
Oh goodness.
And then we also got some changes in terms of we have custom games, which now include observer mode and replays actually in client at this point. It was funny because I could have sworn this came up after the game was already live. So to me, I thought they were saying I wasn't able to play the game right away. I was at work, and I thought they were talking about the next patch. But no, it was in there when I got there. So that was pretty funny for me. But I'm glad it's in there.
Oh, the replay stuff.
The replays and the custom games, observer mode.
It's because of how they worded it. They're like coming up, and it made it seem like it wasn't going to get implemented yet. The way that they worded that release about it getting put in there, they worded it, made it seem like it wasn't going to be in right away as soon as the patch went up.
Yep, exactly. And Ben, you're excited over it. I know that.
Dude, let's get these scrims going. What are you talking? Let's do it.
Yeah, you can actually do like legitimate scrims now. Like you set yourself up to play a specific person. You don't have to like pray to the matchmaking gods that they get put together. So
Yeah.
I think it's huge.
That's something they even said. Like now we know that people are going to have tournaments. Go at it, basically.
Yeah, you can check up and see what the the rules are to having tournaments. They've officially given the go ahead, which is really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to start watching these tournaments like professionally shoutcasted, not just like the hokey way that the people have been doing it, but like the official way of doing it.
You bring 2 teams of 5 in. And you have 2 observers, and you have at it. I think that's cool because then you get. I feel like I don't like watching things from replays when it comes to esports. I do prefer them to be live matches. It puts the pressure onto the players, I think, of actually playing at an event or during a specific time slot that playing in replays doesn't do. When it's like watching, like, and I do this okay amount at this time, but it's like watching a professional sports game on your DVR. There's already an answer out there. You know that all you can do to pray and hope that your team does better isn't going to help because the game's already over. As much as people tell me, screaming at the TV doesn't actually help my team in real life, I'm convinced that it does when I'm watching it live, but not when I'm watching it off a DVR. So, I mean, that's going to bring that into the game.
And also to tag off that as well, it's also going to put the pressure on the casters to be better and to be more analytical with their calls. Because, like, when we were watching the ECS, and granted, credit to them for doing what they could with what they had. More power to them. And it was a great league to watch. However, like, when you're pulling in players and they're casting their own matches that already knew the outcome, and they have to try to be unbiased. As much as they tried, you could still tell that there was some biased play in there, whether they lost or they won, and it was not as entertaining as it could be because of that. So you're forcing the casters to be good at improvising on the spot instead of knowing what's going to happen ahead of time and expecting, I know that this play is going to come up in the match and I got to be ready to talk about it. Like, you don't know what's going to happen until it happens, so you got to be on point every time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really hard to fake surprise, right? It's like, I wonder if anything's gonna. The dragon. It's like you can really hear the insincerity when people are trying to fake, spontaneity.
Yes, no, I agree 100% with you. It's one of those things, and I don't know, that's the excitement knowing that you're watching this and the people are playing right at the same time. So I'm very excited for that. Any other thoughts on anything in the new technical alpha, BlizzCon replays? I think we've hit a good chunk of just about everything that's been going on over the past week in those regards. So we're going to go ahead and talk our first impressions of anub'arak and Asmodan. So I'm going to start it off with Asmodan, and I'm going to allow Ben to kind of give us his first thoughts on him.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh,
That's adorable. I feel so. Anyways,
so special.
so Asmodan, personally, I was really excited about his announcement. When the video came out, I saw him, and anybody who's been listening to the show a little bit or who's been playing with me in Heroes knows that number one, I'm the mage type of player in a MOBA. I played mages in Dota, League, and Han. That's what I do. I've associated, even though we don't have that specific category yet, I've associated mages with specialists because specialists seem to have that similar playstyle. And for the longest time, Witch Doctor was really the only one that really had that kind of mage feel. And for anybody who's unaware, mages are classes that specifically rely on their abilities to do damage or crowd control, period. Their auto attacks do not really help them that much as opposed to a carry. A carry's auto attacks are really a primary source of their damage dealing, and their abilities benefit their auto attacking. So with Asmodan, his entire kit is set up to be super offensive, in your face, and just keeping pressure on you at all times. But at the same time, you can reverse that and be extremely defensive. He can throw a globe with an insane amount of range, which is awesome, and you can smack people in the face. And if you talent into it, you increases damage by 50% based upon the distance that you throw the globe. If you're really good at predicting where the enemy is going to go, super snipe abilities. Like my first 5 games, I was sniping people like crazy as they were trying to get away from a team fight. It wasn't happening. He can summon an incredible amount of minions in 3 different ways. Actually, technically 4. And so if you got guys running up on top of you, there were many team fights where I deployed all the minions that I had to keep pressure off me and onto the tanks, and have the minions surrounding our tank, which in a lot of cases was Adam playing anub'arak, and they were applying a lot of pressure to the enemy. So that's amazing. And he's also really good at chasing people down, as far as people that aren't really fast with speed boosts, and kind of finishing them off, because you can talent into his E, which is a channeled laser, and you can chase people around with that, and you can kite them in and out of fights, and it's absolutely amazing. I think his kit's incredible, and he's finally one of the first, at least in my opinion, real mages that we have. A lot of people are comparing him to Zagara. His kit's kind of similar to Zagara, but I think he's actually insanely more powerful than Zagara, because their Qs, you can't even compare them.
Mm-hmm. And to give people kind of an idea in terms of just numbers, if you look at like a carry, or an assassin, like Zeratul. Zeratul starts with 47 attack damage. He then goes up 13 attack damage per level, which is good because he relies more on auto attacks than someone like Asmodan. So Asmodan, he starts with only 34 attack damage, goes up 8 a level. So you can see how quickly Zeratul's attack damage is going to outpace Asmodan. So he relies so much heavily on the spells that he's casting. So that's kind of, by the numbers, kind of what people can see. The difference between, say, a mage and a carry, an assassin. Josh, you said you got a little bit of game time with him, or no?
With him, yeah, yeah, I did today. I was listening to another Heroes podcast, and they were talking about stuff he can do. So, when I got home today from work, I played him basically all day. At first, when I played him Tuesday, I didn't really care for him, it's just my play style. But once I figured out what to do with him, I love him now too. I think he's a great character. He's fun. He has an awesome kit with him. His abilities are great. He's really fun. If you can play him, get him. If you're in the alpha, totally do it. He's fun. Learn how to play him first though, like I didn't at first, because then it takes away the experience of what you're expecting. But he's a blast. I love him a lot. Especially from, that NBA Jam, fire, basketball, across the map. You know what I'm talking about, Ben.
Yeah. I was Sir Snipes a lot from the Harlem Globetrotters.
No, David,
Downtown.
I know you didn't get a chance to play as him. Did you go up against him a little bit over the past couple of days?
Oh, Asmodan, you naughty, naughty boy. Yes, I've seen a lot of Asmodans, and definitely great laners in terms of just being able to kind of like it. I remember one game where like we really felt we were doing well. We were like actually getting in kills. Yet we lost track of the Asmodan, and next thing I know, I'm just seeing my base disintegrate because Asmodan's sitting out in front of it. I'm one of those people who I play a lot of Witch Doctor, like Ben was saying. So I'm really tempted to play Asmodan because it's like everything I enjoy about Witch Doctor, Asmodan has, but a better version of it. He seems to probably be a little less versatile in the sense that, you know, if I can spec into a good damage mode as Witch Doctor where I can feel comfortable in a Cursed Hollow fight, whereas I think Asmodan's a little bit more of a specialized specialist. Do you agree with that, Ben, in that sense? Or
It depends on which direction you're taking. Like, you can be extremely effective as a damage house. The way that I build and play him, I take the extra minion talents. So as my globe does damage, he spawns a minion. I take the additional max number of charges on my spawning minions. I take the mobility for all shell burns, so that way I can move around while channeling it instead of being stuck. So when a team fight happens, I'm always making sure to be behind my team, because my globe, with the way that I talent it, it does more damage the farther that I am. So as soon as the team fight starts, I chuck the globe in there. I let the minion plop onto them from the damage. I hit D and spawn another minion off of that guy. Then I instantly spawn another 3 minions and send them in. I drop my ultimate, which spawns minions on top of them. I throw another globe at that point because the cooldown's up. And then I just pick someone. I'm like, all right, who is the most like vulnerable carry or mage in this group? I find them and I start channeling my ability, and I follow them. I stay with them until they die. Or if I have to, I switch on to another target and I keep spawning minions over and over and over again. So he's very viable in a team fight as far as damage is concerned. There was we played the other night, and I had triple the amount of damage of a lot of other people. But it's all on how you set up for the team fight. You yourself are essentially like a turtle cannon, because you have no escape abilities whatsoever, which is what makes him more balanced than what people want to admit. People think he's OP. Not if you know how to fight him. He cannot escape from fights, and he's so big that his own teammates body block him when trying to escape. So.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I mean, just hearing you talk, Ben, though, I gotta say, like, all his entire kit, so much like what a General of Hell would be. Like, it really, really feels like that. I felt like the only thing, if they ever do retool Asmodan, that they should add is that every time the other team kills one of your heroes, your Asmodan should be able to appear as a disembodied head and bore them to death for about 30 seconds, telling them that even though they've won this time, that they're going to get them eventually.
Okay, so let's go with the rankings for Asmodan. We'll go backwards. We'll start with David. You know, from what you've seen, where would you rank him?
On the 9 layers of hell, I would rank Asmodan as, again, I haven't played him yet, so I'm not really sure, but, you know, I don't plan on going to hell either, so I guess that's appropriate. I would rank him, I'd say, the 8th level of hell. If I play him, maybe he'll descend all the way. But I give him 8th level of hell just because of what Ben was saying, is that you do feel a little bit like a giant marshmallowy turret. That, you know, it's hard. For me, I need that getaway mechanism in there, and he seems to be lacking it. So I could see myself really enjoying him, but also like feeding like crazy with this character, or this hero. So I'll give him 8 just because I do love his kit. I love him. I love everything about him, and you know, I'd love to go, but I want him running my stack party.
Got it. Josh.
Well, real quick, David, I will say, you've been to Canton, Ohio, so you have been to hell. What?
Well, how would you rank him?
Oh, no, David said something, but he cut out. Am I doing the same ranking style as David? Because I would rank him super high. I don't know what the levels of hell are.
You can rank him your own personal ranking style.
My own personal ranking. he'll get the awesome stamp of approval from Josh. There, how about that? That's high. That's very high ranking there. Um, he's just a super fun character once you go unlock all his talents and figure out a good build for him. I love what Ben does is basically what I do as well as with the minions. Work on the minions and use the beam to pick people off and throw in your fireballs in there. It's just he is a lot of fun, I think.
Ben, we want your ranking next.
All right, so I'll give you the actual analytical ranking from the esports perspective. I think he's definitely one of the top tier. I don't really know how I want to classify him. I kind of want to do a scale of like 1 to 10. Like an 8.5 to a 9. The reason why he's not a 10 is because, and this comes into balance, he doesn't have a whole lot of high mobility. He doesn't have any escape mechanics, which it balances out the kit a little bit. However, it's all in how you play him. If you can be very smart and aggressive with him, you've got it down. Many times I've used his minions as an escape mechanic, because if you leave the minions unchecked, they will do a lot of damage to you. So spawning 2 minions back to back right on top of somebody pursuing you, sometimes they'll run away. So I'm definitely gonna give him a top tier. I think he's gonna be somebody to contend with in esports, and I think he's gonna get some bans because of it. You just have to be really smart, because if you get jammed up by 3 people, you're not getting away. You are so big and bulky that it's incredibly easy for a smaller hero to body block you.
Mm-hmm. Now, normally I take heroes that are kind of in the same level, and I tell you who I think is good, who I think is bad, and I put this person in the middle. Now, with Asmodan, I feel like he almost stands in a league of his own in terms of what he can do. The closest, like we've said before, is Nazebo. And and to a lesser point, people say Tassadar is kind of like that mage, but he doesn't. He still has a little bit too much support for him to be a true mage. He's kind of sitting there on the edge. But I would put him as kind of top tier mage at this point. I think he's better than Azebo and definitely better than Zagara. If people make that comparison, I think we're gonna see some tweaking, I think, to numbers and talents, because that's what we see all the time, and that might change our rankings a little bit. So now,
I think they're only comparing him to Zagara because they kind of look the same.
Because they look the same, because they spawn minions. I think that's why that comparison's there.
Yeah, one of our teammates had a huge comparison on Zagara, saying that he was saying they're the exact same hero, and I'm sorry, I strongly disagree. The fact that they can both spawn minions does not mean that they're the exact same hero. Zagara has a CC mechanic that she can trap a team inside of, or she has a high mobility mechanic where she can Nidus network across the map. Her Q is a direct siege ability. It does not benefit you that much in team fights, because you're mostly you can pick a talent for it to give bonus damage on minions and buildings, so non-heroic people. It doesn't do awesome damage in a team fight. The globe can be a huge sieging ability and do awesome damage in a team fight, and it can cut off escaping people and snipe them and kill them, because I've done it 30 times now. So the simple fact, and also he has a direct channel damaging ability where he can stay on somebody. He has more damaging options than Zagara, so they are nowhere near the same hero. The only thing that even makes them similar by any type of means is the fact that they can both summon creep. That is it. Other than that, they're not even close.
They have lots of legs, both.
Okay, they have lots of legs. I'll give you that. For aesthetic purposes.
Okay, so now we're gonna. This is probably the only time we ever do this. Is we have another first look, because we also got anub'arak this week. So, Josh, you've been playing anub'arak a bunch, so I'll let you get the first words in on him.
He's a lot of fun. You gotta be careful with him, Doug, because he does have a burrow that, if you don't do it right, of course, you can easily get stuck and destroyed. Because I don't know about you guys, but to me, he doesn't seem like he can take that much damage very well. But if he gets cornered by like 2 heroes, it's easy to escape. But if you can't escape, there's a good chance you can die. It could be just the build that I do, because I like to use his beetles a lot and his scarabs. I like to use those. But he's fun in a different too, because he has those. Like I said, he has the beetles that whenever he casts a spell or an attack, not normal attack, but like the hotkeys, it spawns the little beetle that goes down and fights, and you can buff those little guys up.
So I've been playing almost all anub'arak over the past couple of days, getting used to him. Our team practice, basically, I've been playing anub'arak, Ben's been playing Asmodan, and I've tried out a couple different ways of playing him. And even though I think the beetle version of him is more fun, you spawn more beetles, your beetles heal you, your beetles deal more damage, and all this. In the end, building him more tanky is really the better option for the team, especially if you're the only tank on the team. Basically, for what you said, Josh, two people kind of surround you. If you're in your beetle spec, I'll call it, you kind of get beat up a little bit, even though you have a little bit better healing. On the other side, you have kind of where you work with your carapace, your longer duration, higher amount of protection when you cast your hardened shell. Really pushes out that you can actually stay in a combat for a very, very long time. Top that with playing with like a Tassadar who can put a shield on you. You're nigh unkillable for a bit there, which is very, very exciting. Now, I've definitely come to like him a lot in this game. He's quick in or quick out, a lot of stun ability. He basically has 2 automatic stuns with his spikes and with his burrow charge, and then he also has the ability to choose the web, which is like a kind of real hard CC for his heroic. But I feel like he has the 2 heroics it's a tough choice match to match, because you get damage and survivability out of one, and that kind of hard CC out of the other. So I think it's great that you have it's depending on who you're playing, you have a choice. If I'm playing Vala, who has a strafe, I'm gonna take the web, because once she starts strafing, I'm gonna want to drop the web on her. If I'm playing a team that doesn't have something that I need to hit like that, then I'm gonna take the survivability. So when I have the stronger shell and stuff, not only are they hitting me and hurting me less, but I'm healing up pretty quick. So I really like the choices that are in there. David, have you I know you've probably played against him a little bit. What are your thoughts on being on the other end of a noob?
Now, Adam, do you think that a lot of people compare anub'arak with Asmodan because they both have a lot of legs?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so as well.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, anub'arak looks like a lot of fun to play. Definitely. The one thing is, I've been running into him a lot as Witch Doctor, and I think the people that we're playing against, they were relying a little too much on their burrowing ability, because they do a lot of damage, get down to pretty low health, and then burrow away. Unfortunately, I'd also hit them with a bunch of poison and envenoms and stuff like that. So it's like, well, you got away, and you're just going to die over there. So congratulations.
It's because
the interesting thing. Sorry,
I was just going to say that's because I think a lot of people are going for this beetle build, and that was the first one that I went for too, because it just seems like the cooler of the builds. But I was noticing the same thing. If I burrowed to get away, I was poisoned and I died anyway. So building up the shield, basically your hardened shell, was the better option, because once you burrow away, you pop that, and then the poison doesn't kill you. But you keep going.
Yeah, it does. It's at least the impression I got watching it was that it seemed like it was a little bit of a higher skill level. Now, the interesting thing I did notice is that on the HOTS logs, and this is no great scientific survey, because it's a self-selected group of statistics, but anub'arak's win percentage is pretty high up there. It's around 56% compared to, I think, around 51%, or sorry, 48% for Asmodan. The really crazy outlier too is on Garden of Terror, where anub'arak wins 64% of the matches, which is, I think, the highest of any, one of the highest of any hero on any particular map. So, I mean, there's obviously a skill set that can be used with him that really affects specific maps and specific situations. I haven't really had first-hand experience playing it. It does seem to me, at least, like it would take a lot of skill. But once you get that skill, that you could be really tough to kill.
Yeah, part of the skill, I think, is really when you burrow charge, you can come up at any time, and you burrow charge pretty quickly. So the skill is learning like how to come up when you want to, if it's not the end of it.
And you're like spikes from the ground skill. I mean, that to me, for some reason that feels like Stitch's hook a little bit, like like in terms of a real skill shot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like it's one of those type of skills.
It's like almost like it's a thin row. It feels like it's not because it's not like an arc. It's thin. You gotta hit them right. Ben, any thoughts on anub'arak?
So first thing I want to say is I'm proud of David for busting out them stats, because that makes me happy to hear him talk about stuff like that, because normally he's not that type of guy. Secondly, as I mentioned, I haven't played any other hero besides Azmodan just because I want to perfect him as my number one. However, I think he's really fun to play alongside and play against. His kit is unique. He's got high mobility and he's got some great effects. He's not super tanky to the point where it's impossible to kill. So as Azmodan, I know that I can go into, as long as I'm juking correctly, which is kind of hard to do as Azmodan, I know that I can go in a fight against the anub'arak, and I know that if an anub'arak is on my team, you, for example, I know that I need to support you when you're doing something. And we've laned together in a few games, and it's been absolutely fun. The things that we're doing together in a lane, like all the minions that I'm generating, the minions that you're generating, and trapping people and coming up on top of them, like it's fun. And I think that's a great thing to say, because that's exactly what Blizzard wants this to be as a top priority, is fun. So I think they definitely do a great job. And also, to tag along with that, I think his default skin is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
The art team, spot on, guys.
And the recolors, especially the third recolor, is super awesome. It's like I was calling, basically it's the full on, like, I guess it would be like the Lich King anub'arak, I'd call it, because he's like all decked down that, like the ice blue and like
that one in the master skin too. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working.
Have they come up with an Azmodan trailer? They haven't, right?
No, they have not.
Oh, I want to see that.
They haven't done the Hero Week. Hopefully in the next week or so.
I want to see that.
We'll kind of do a little bit different. Ben, why don't you give us your outside looking in, hard stat and analytical rating?
So I'm not gonna have as much analytics just because I don't play them. I definitely think in a team environment, when you're playing with a 5-player team and you are taking on the role as a tank, the tankier build is definitely the way to go, just because you're going to be more useful to your team because your survivability is going to be higher. You need to be help initiating team fights, wrapping up team fights, and also controlling somebody in a vital moment, such as like Rhaegar, for example, throwing the web on Rhaegar and controlling him from either bloodlusting or ancestral spiriting during a team fight and so on, or maybe like a volley. It really depends on the makeup that you're going against. If you're by yourself and you just want to play around, by all means, have fun, use the beetle build. I think he's definitely up there. I at least am going to give him a 7 out of 10. I want to see what they do with balance changes before I really kind of lock in my answer, just because I'm curious to see what kind of changes are going to make to him. I don't feel like he's broken by any means, especially being able to go into a lane. I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh man, it's a anub'arak, I need to just get out of here as fast as possible. I can't even do it. Like, I'm willing to play with him and be like, all right, let's see what you got. Let's see who's going to come out on top. So I want to see what balance does. I feel like maybe he's a little weak as far as health is concerned, but we'll see what happens.
Josh.
It's hard to... Oh, someone's having some sound issues there. But it's hard for me to say I like him more than Azmodan, because I really like him. Anub'arak's definitely one of my favorites out of the heroes, for sure. Probably my top 3. I like his playstyle. I don't know. I probably would give him, as a rating, probably about an 8, I would say, because there's some things that they can tweak with him, but overall, I think he's a lot of fun. I'll have to try the actual tank build with him. I haven't tried that at all. I just like playing with the beetles. Those are fun. But I say an 8, a solid 8 for sure. And some tweaks that they can do for him, but overall, he's a lot of fun.
David.
On my rankings by philosophers, so with Plato being number 1, Socrates number 2, and Nietzsche being 3rd, I will rank anub'arak as Socrates. Very impressive, but easy to poison.
Impressive, but easy
Oh
to
God.
poison. Oh man. Okay, and for me, so being as though I have played a good chunk of all the warriors, I hate to say this, but I believe that he falls somewhere in between Chen and Arthas. In terms of, I believe he's better than Chen, but not quite as good as Arthas at this point. It kills me to say this because, it's Chen. It's hard for me to say someone's better than Chen. And remember, I tend to put like an ETC Muradin kind of towards the bottom of the ranking too. So he's better than, I'd say, 6 of the other ones. So but he's very solid in terms of defense and being able to deal some damage. So he's right up there. I would say if I had to pick 3 heroes at this point that are my 3 that I'm going to be playing in terms of warrior on the team, it's Stitches, Arthas, and anub'arak. Chen kind of gets kicked out of the list.
Yes, I win. I win.
You win, yeah. So, and like I said, it's as you can tell, I'm not quite saying it right because it does bug me that Chen isn't in my top 3 at the moment.
Not enough legs.
Not enough legs. It must be what it is. It's just, if we look and we compare Chen and anub'arak, and I'll do this really quick. They both have get-in mechanics. You have your flying kick and your burrow charge. Burrow charge without any type of a talent is a CC. You have to talent to CC with the flying kick. The ability to stun someone with the spikes on anub'arak, I think beats the fire damage from Chen, because now you're slowing and doing fire damage in 2 abilities rather than just dealing damage and stunning with 1. So it doesn't stack up evenly at that point. If that makes any sense, Ben, can you kind of validate what I'm saying here? Because I think I need validation.
I'm just so excited that you picked him over Chen, and Chen's not your top 3. I'm like on cloud 9 over here.
But it's just, I feel like what Chen does to do what anub'arak does, it takes all of his abilities. So anub'arak kind of has a little bit of extra in terms of the beetles coming out, because he gets the shield.
I feel like he's got a little bit more utility. When we get into fights, like when I think of Chen, the only thing that I think of is that he's annoying. When anub'arak's in the picture, I'm thinking analytically like, okay, this is what he's probably going to do. This is maybe what he could do. Got to pay attention to what he's going to do in a team fight, because all of a sudden, like, he can burrow into the ground and jump out on top of me, kind of thing. As far as Chen, I just see this fat panda hopping around and just hitting people, and then all of a sudden he's going to bust out his heroic ability. He's going to jump around inside a keg and knock everybody around, and I'm just like, oh, that's amazing.
And to be said, just like we're getting that mage specification with Asmodan, and we're kind of getting heroes. So you have specialists, but then you have mage specialists and siege specialists, and then you have Gazlo. I think the warriors are now starting to be able to broken down into 2. You're getting the tanky, more survivable tanks. I think anub'arak falls into that, and Stitches and in Arthas, and then you're starting to get the bruisers. Like, I think Chen is going to be a bruiser. So I think depending on the team makeup, he's going to fall to a bruiser, kind of like what would be, at least the last time I was really watching League of Legends, a bruiser that would go into a top lane rather than a support tank that would go kind of in the bottom lane, So I feel like anub'arak is kind of, we're starting to get enough heroes in each position that they'll start breaking into smaller offsets of them.
I hope this is a prelude to new categories. I really do.
Yep. And I feel like we're pretty good with that. Okay, so that really leaves us with just one more thing kind of for the day. Like we said earlier, they've officially said that you're cool to do community tournaments. You're cool to kind of do all that type of stuff, just as long as you follow the rules. And, we've been kind of chomping at the bits to do this for a while. Me and Ben have talked about it. I think me and David, me and Josh, we've all talked about this, a few other people. But we're going to start to put together the Nexus tournaments and leagues. So what we're looking to do to start this, really, we just want to reach out and start to get some kind of feedback on what people want. Are you looking for leagues, tournaments to start? What are interested in? And what we really want to do with this is we don't want to make it so it's just the top tier people. We want everybody to be a part of it. We want to run tournaments from, depending on how they do it, from, copper league all the way up to platinum. So I don't even think it's copper, it's bronze, but whatever. So, we have a new email. It's esports@heroesofthenexus.com. So if you're interested, please let us know, because we want to start getting this stuff put together in the very near future. Because this is something we all love, esports, and what's better than kind of putting together, having some community involvement, and playing games with everyone. So, that's why we're here, guys, right?
Absolutely, we're excited. Definitely contact us. We'd love to have you join us for all kinds of tournaments and stuff.
Okay, I think that'll do it for this episode, guys. So, Ben, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you?
As per always, you can find me on Twitter at Stacks and Packs. It's STAKSNPAKS. You just hit me up on there for anything you need. Definitely, now that we're going to be trying to roll into more esports type of manner, by all means, do not be afraid to ask any questions or send me anything whatsoever, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Even if it's just for my email address and you just need to spit some ideas offline to where people can't see it. As just a quick mention, somebody did hit us up on Twitter one time. He hit me up on Twitter asking to play Heroes with us, and now he's a permanent member of our Fives team. So, by all means, hit us up. We are very approachable.
And Josh?
You can find me on Twitter at Pakawan_AIE. It's spelled PAKKUAN_AIE.
David,
where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at BrilanCTR. One thing I'd like people to do, just to give it some thought, and you can email us or send it to me on Twitter. Currently, there's 4 heroes in the game that have lots of legs. I like your suggestion as to who that 5th should be, or if it's an existing hero, that would be great. Also, you can reach my articles at catalystgamingmedia.com. I talk about esports over the next couple of weeks, and the future of esports. And but I touch on everything from lore to just general gaming things as well. So definitely check that out.
And you can find me at Geek of Random on Twitter. New show that I've been doing. You can catch me on Saturday nights at 10 o'clock. It's called Charred Hearts. It's a geek nerd love advice show. Me and Kaylee from Hotscast actually are doing. So she has a PhD. She kind of knows how the human brain works, and I just spout out about nerdy things and how the nerd guys think of things. So it works out pretty well. We just had our first episode. It's out on iTunes and everywhere, so check it out and come see us live as well. Basically, just 24 hours from when this show started. You can reach the show at heroesofthenexus.com with any questions, concerns, anything you need about Heroes of the Storm. We'll answer the questions. You can find us every Friday night, 10 Eastern Time, here at twitch.tv/heroesofthenexus. For those of you thank you for listening to us through iTunes and Stitcher and all that. Please leave us some 5-star reviews, and we'll read them out on the show. We are proud members of Catalyst Gaming Media, where you can find bloggers like David, video content creators, other great podcasts over at catalystgamingmedia.com. Thank you all again, and we will see you inside the Nexus now that it's back up and running, guys. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
She's got legs.
Oh, God.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Canadians.
Okay, I'm going to bring this stream pretty much right down tonight, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the live show. Specifically...
We can stop.
Yeah, we can stop the recording. Sorry. Especially Laura Walker, Tahu, and Will. Will just jumped in there at the end. I have to say hi to him. D20 Crit Gaming.
See you guys.
Peace.
Bye, chat room.